Phil, Adam Devine's character, works at a BuzzFeed type sort of company, and has aspirations to work in the newsroom, and he's kind of a nerd, a cute nerd, I think. And then he gets this new phone, and this phone turns out to sort of slowly infiltrate his life and make his decisions about a girl he should date and how he should act at work, and controlling everything from what he should have to dinner to what he should, who he should ask out to date. So it's an interesting AI, sort of like the conventions of an AI film, but very much of a modern day relationship that we all have with our phones to a certain extent. Well, the story is relatable. I think it's the current sort of crisis of humanity a little bit, is the relationships we have with our phones and the time we spent looking at screens rather than talking to each other or going for a walk or reading a book or whatever it may be that we used to enjoy has been hijacked by this relationship you have with the phone and the desperation, where is it, and did you lose it, and the battery, and this and that, and all, and also all the information it holds, which is a whole other kind of insanity of invasion of privacy and controlling and everything like that. But I thought it was a really humorous way to look at that, and that's always a great way to have people examine things in their life through humor. Obviously, it's a little heightened when she's constantly humiliating him. They have a sexual relationship at one point. The scene that I found the most tragic is when they've sort of haven't left the house for a few days, and they've just been eating in, and he's fallen into a depression, and that was really, to me, quite dark. And I remember after I would do sessions sometimes, I just got really dark because I thought, this is miserable. I don't want to look at my phone, But that was one scene that really stuck with me. I think what was incredibly fun about playing the character is her complete disregard for tact or kindness or anything like that, and that's very funny to do, and how pushing that further and further and to mine the comedy with that is really funny. Like, I would often laugh in the booth when I was doing it, and also with the engineers, where we would all be like laughing our heads off because it was so absurd, and that was really, really fun. Just like mining the depths of that absolute sort of monotone, soulless, cold kind of. And then when she would try to engage in a human level, like laughing, or when she has the sex scene, like, it's even weirder. And so that's really fun. The weirder the better. Yeah, the balance with the voice was really tricky. It took a long time to find the perfect combination, because these voices like Siri and so on, they're all, it's like someone does a sentence and then it's put into this incredible software that's spliced up, and so it's literally impossible to recreate as a person, because it's just a computer having done all of the work. So it was really hard, yeah. And we eventually got in a special engineer who fine-tuned exactly how we needed her to sound, because it's also about trying to get the humor with the character, and that was a tricky balance, yeah. But hopefully we got there. The studies say that the negative effect of, like, look at what Instagram's done. Now they don't tell you how many likes you have, they just say and others, because it's been, scientifically proven through data and research that it's crushing on your self-esteem and crushing on your ability to feel confident with friendships and all those sorts of things. So it's like a debilitating effect. Yeah, I was definitely in my late 20s when it all really turned to iPhone and the BlackBerry was slowly phased out. So late, like my stepson is light years ahead of me. When he picks up my phone to do something, he does it at such a rate and accesses all these apps and things, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I consider myself very much on the lower end of sophistication with the phone. Yeah, and I don't love the phone. Like, I get sick of looking at it, and I get sick of things, and I don't have a million apps, and I have one social media account, Instagram, that's public, and even that I have a very ambivalent relationship with. But then there's because then there's the older generation who love it. The octogenarians, what do they call it? Like, my mum loves the phone. She's always just on the phone, like looking at the phone. It's a really hard performance. I'm like really want to like give him a hug and be like, buddy, how did you do that? He's like gives it 150% Adam, and he's so funny and endearing and goofy and kind of stupid, but you go along with the ride with him, and you know, he's sort of the classic anti-hero lead, which I just really loved, and you're really rooting for him to like grow up, become a man, come of age, wake up, you know, and like stop looking at his phone. So yeah, he's sort of the man child in everybody I know. Yeah. All the comedies I've done have always been R-rated, so I don't really know any different. So I'm like, oh, here we go again. This is just the, it's my wheelhouse. So it was fine. It was good. That's what I'm used to. They're, you know, legendary comic writers, and they're fantastic, and they're really funny, and they have a sense of, you know, irony about what they're doing and commentary on everything. And funnily enough, though, we never actually met because I was like always like did a session from Atlanta and from New York and then from Toronto. Like I was constantly moving around, so they patiently would, you know, call up in the middle of the morning, you know, night for like 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd be calling in, and it took a while, but they were dedicated to trying to get it exactly right, because the film just doesn't stand up unless you believe Jexi. I don't know how it's going to resonate. I don't want to prescribe like how people should feel or whatever, but as a viewer, having watched it many times, it really affected me. I was like, wow, this is dark, and I don't want to look at my phone. I want to go, you know, hug my kids and be with my man. Like I don't want to be near the phone. And so I think it can only do a little bit of good.